Hi there, my name is Toby, and today I'm asking a question, and that is, can we create energy? And I mean create it. In two senses. Can we create energy as in a free energy machine, technology? And can we create energy in our body, in our life? Quite literally, we're totally exhausted, but I can create some energy. Can we create it? I'm going to argue that yes, we can. This is exactly how the universe works. But it goes against modern science. This goes against modern science. It goes against the first law of thermodynamics, which says energy cannot be created or destroyed, just transformed. Now, I'm telling you the exact opposite. Energy is not transformed so much as created and destroyed all the time. That is how the universe is creating and destroying itself all the time. It's happening in every little moment. The fact that we can talk about this in the body and in technology is in itself very, very interesting. You see, what I'm talking about here is ether. This is the grand unified field. And it unifies both us as living things and physics, the material realm. Modern science is only talking about physics. They're not talking about life. We've got another study for that, like medicine. Medicine is so-called studying life. The body is autonomous. It's doing things, and that doesn't really follow modern physics. How is it doing these things? So modern physics, well, I'm looking over here. I look at these things. You medicine people, you look at life. But ether explains both. It's a holistic science. It explains life as well as physics, the material world. That's why it's so powerful. That's why it's the real answer. So this analogy, I'll show you this analogy now. I've got this shell. So the creation of energy. Energy comes out of inertia, which is the ether. So inertia means pure potentiality, infinite potential. Modern science thinks that inertia means rest. So here's a shell. I'll place it on the table. It's at rest. So it's now at inertia. I now lift it up. I have created some energy in the shell. And if I let go, the energy is going to drop down to inertia. So I explained this in a previous lecture, which I'll leave the links below as well, Aether Physics Part 1. But just simply there, inertia is zero energy, rest. I create some energy. It now has some. I let go, it goes back. So this part is the creation of energy. This part is the destruction of energy. This is entropy. But how does this work? This at the moment is an analogy, but it's also quite literal. See, I come from outside the system. I am consciousness. I am spirit. I am non-physical reality. From non-physical reality, the ether, I make a movement in physical reality. Then if I let go, consciousness retreats, physical reality all by itself returns to inertia. So this is entropic. And this is the energy that modern science is looking at. See, here, the first law of thermodynamics must be followed. From here to here, that energy must be conserved. But me lifting it up, that's not the first law of thermodynamics anymore. This is me creating it. I'm creating energy from outside the system. I'm coming from outside the system and applying something. What is it that I'm applying? Well, that's mystical. That's consciousness. That's the life force energy, the chi. So the chi comes in, creates some energy. Then if the chi retreats, that energy releases. So this is me, the life force. This is inert matter. The life force comes in, it animates the matter. Matter is animated by the chi, the life force. Now it's creating energy. Energy has been created. Now I retreat. The soul spirit goes away and it returns to entropy. It now becomes inanimate matter again. Energy is no longer being created. It's now gone. It's been destroyed. It's now the body is decaying, going into the earth. All the energy is dissipating because I'm not creating it anymore. It's now being destroyed. It's going back to inertia, going back to rest. But remember, rest is also infinite potential. So inertia is also consciousness, spirit. So although the energy is dissipating away, it's also going back to consciousness, back to spirit. And then once more, spirit will activate it again. Lifeful, living, creating energy. So that's how it works. Now that's still philosophical, but it's also quite literal. So now I want to talk to the scientists. This is how free energy is going to work. Now, okay, this shell, I'm telling you that I'm lifting the shell up and I am creating energy for the shell. I'm creating it. You're going to say, well, no, you're giving it kinetic energy. I'm moving my arm with kinetic energy, and that kinetic energy is being transformed into potential energy of this shell. You see, look at it this way. At the moment it's at rest. It's relative. This is all relative. Relative to the shell. See, this position here now is at rest on the table relative to gravity. I lift it up here. I have changed its position relative to gravity. Where does the energy come from in the shell? It comes from gravity. It doesn't come from me holding it up. That's irrelevant. I have just changed its position relative to gravity. Now, if I let go, the energy it has returns back. But that energy is gravity, or comes from gravity. It doesn't come from me. Okay, it doesn't come. Let me give you another way of looking at this. You see, it's about calories. All right, let's go back. I'm a normal person. I've got to burn some calories to lift this up. So you could say, all right, I might burn 10 calories to lift this up. So this shell ought to have 10 calories of energy. It's a bit more complicated than that. If you watch the previous lecture, I explain this again. But let's just say 10 calories for me to lift this up. But when I let go, it's actually got 50 calories. It's actually got 50 calories based on gravity. So by your first law of thermodynamics, it should take me, if I give it 10 calories to lift it up, it must only have 10 calories. But it can't. You see, if I lift it to here, it probably still takes me 10 calories, but it will have less potential energy. The distance is different. Have I given it less energy? No, I haven't. I could be a muscle builder, bodybuild, muscles. I use all my muscular strength. Lift it to here. Have I given it any more energy? No. None of that energy has transferred to the shell. The shell is only energy is relative to gravity. If I let go, it will still have 50 calories. I might have burnt 1,000 calories. The energy does not transfer. Now, if I'm a chi master, I use the chi. Whoop. 0 calories. I've used no energy to lift it up. Now use the chi to hold it up. I'm using no energy to hold it up. If I let go, it still has 50 calories. You see, all I've done is used my energy to change the situation of this shell relative to gravity. I have quite literally created energy for this, for the shell. Now, the fact that I have to use some of my energy is irrelevant. It's irrelevant to the thing. Look at it this way. I use my energy to change the situation of this object such that it creates energy for it. Now, if we were floating in space, no gravity, and I move the shell from here to here, I'll still burn some calories. Have I given the shell any energy? No, because there's no gravity acting on it. So if I move it from here to here, it's irrelevant. I've burnt my energy to move the shell in exactly the same way as I did here. Here it's got some energy, there it hasn't. The energy of the shell is not directly connected to the energy of my arm. Do you see? Now let's look at it in another way. A dynamo. You have a dynamo. This is how you create electricity. Well, let's take a very simple dynamo. You've got a coil of wire like this, and then you have a magnet. And you have to poke the magnet. You move the magnet through the coil of wire. And what happens, you've got a resistance to the wire. So you've got to push it through the wire. And the wire then an electric current will build up in the wire, and you've got some electricity. So you would say, all right, if I've got to do the work, so I've got to pump the magnet through the wire to create electricity. So your modern science will say, all right, I'm using kinetic energy, again, of my arm to move the magnet, and that is being transformed into electrical energy. Now, it's not being transformed. The two things are not connected. Again, what is happening here? The electrical energy only comes out. Electrical energy only can come out if you have this geometry. You have to have a coil of wire. You have to have this metallic substance, particular atomic structure arranged in this coil of wire. It's a geometry. Then you have to have this other thing, a magnet, which is another geometry. The atoms are all aligned in there to create a magnetic field. These two things, these two geometries have to be present. Then they have to interact. They have to be moved in and out. But what's happening here, it's the movement of the geometry. You're creating a movement through geometry that is causing electricity to manifest out of the ether, to appear, to be created. And where does the movement comes from me, my arm, but it comes from outside the electrical system. There's two systems at play here. There's an electrical system going on based on the geometry of a wire and the metallic substance, the magnetic field. And there's another system going on here, a mechanical one. A mechanical one, me pumping my arm to move the magnet. Now, there seems to be a connection because the faster I pump the thing, the harder I work, it gets a bit more electricity. But really, again, what's happening, it's not a direct connection, it's indirect. A mechanical system is being used to change the situation of an electrical system. And the electricity is being manifest. It's created. You are creating energy. Now again, how much energy do I have to put into pumping the magnet? I've got to put quite a lot of work in. But you will notice at a particular speed, so I've got to put a certain amount of calories in to pump the magnet. And I've got to maintain the speed to get the electricity. Now if I put an elastic band at the other side, so I just push and the elastic band expands, and I let go and then it bounces back. Then I push, the elastic band expands, I let go, it bounces back. So now I'm pumping, but I can half my effort. My effort goes down by half because the elastic band is doing some work. But the end result is I'm still pumping this thing through and creating the same amount of electricity. So I'm pumping, but I'm doing half the work. I'm now burning half the calories to create that electricity because of the elastic band. So what's happened here is I've changed the mechanical system to reduce the amount of work I have to do in the mechanical system, but I am still producing exactly the same amount of electricity. That is essentially free energy. It's not completely free because I'm still doing some work, but I've made it half free. It's half price. That's half price electricity. Now, if you understand that it's movement, we just need movement and geometry. Well, now we do a water wheel. So again, you've got a water wheel, that's turning. So that's not us doing any work, it's the water doing the work. It's just a totally different mechanical system. So the mechanical system doesn't really matter. You've just got to create the geometry of a coil and a magnet spinning or a magnet pumping. You've got to create a movement. And you've got to create this substance and you've got to create the geometry. That is metaphysics. Geometry is metaphysics. It's the metaphysics of geometry and time. Movement is time. So you can think of it as temporal geometry. That's metaphysics. The temporal geometry is what is creating the electricity, not the mechanical system. The mechanical system is just one way I can create this temporal geometry. Now, if you can be even cleverer, look, a magnet itself is already technology. That is already a free energy machine. This another way, look. We had to create this magnet. Now it's got force. Magnetic field is continually coming out of here. Here's the other one. Look, it's ever such a strong magnet. This is very strong. But it's man-made. We had to create this. How did we create it? Well, we had to magnetize it. We get a lump of metal. Metal has to be a particular substance. It needs to have the right atomic structure to do this. Then what we do is align all the atoms. We line them all up so that all the atoms are in a row such that the magnetic field of every atom lines up, and then what we get is something called coherence. They all cohere into one big magnetic field. So that's now, and now energy is coming out. It's free energy. Where does the energy come from? It's coming from the coherence of the atoms. It's coming from the alignment of the atoms, the geometry of the atoms. Now that is static geometry. It's not really static because they're vibrating. The magnetic field itself is vibrating. So it's still temporal geometry, but it requires zero kinetic input. Zero kinetic input. I don't have to do anything. It's happening in there all by itself. So now that's a genuine free energy machine. Now, how do we create it? Well, we have another magnet. This is a lump of inert matter. I take a big magnet, I touch it to the small magnet, take it away. Now that's magnetized. Now, so I've taken another magnet. This has got magnetic energy. And I've put the magnetic energy into this magnet, and now this one is magnetic. In your modern science, first law of thermodynamics, that this magnet has given this magnet the energy. So it's transformed the energy, but this magnet has still got energy. It has not lost anything. It has not changed. This magnetic field is still the same. Now this one has got one. It's got one. It hasn't changed. It's still the same substance, the same atoms, but now it's got energy coming out of it. We've got two magnets. So has there been a transformation of energy? Have we given one energy to this one? No. Well, we have. The energy coming out of this magnet has been used. It has been used. We've used this energy to change the situation of this lump of metal. This lump of metal is in a situation like this shell. Down here it's in a situation. I lift it up, I've changed its situation. I've created energy. This lump of inert metal is in a situation. I bring another magnet to it, I touch it to it, I've used the energy of this magnet applied to this lump of metal, and now I've changed the situation of the atoms such that now I have created energy in here. The energy is coming out. It's coming out. It's appearing. It's being created, continuously created. It's coming from the point of inertia. The field emerges from the midpoint. In the midpoint, there's no field. It's emptiness. You can look at this. The middle of a magnetic field, there's no magnetic field. It's outside it, and it goes off. So there is the point of inertia, the point of energy creation. Very important. If you can understand this concept, now you can see how a free energy machine works. You've got to look at how to create temporal geometry that is self-sustaining. You can create a spinning wheel using magnets. Use other magnets to create a spin around another magnet. Now you've got a perpetual motion wheel that you can put a coil and create a current. So people are doing this. Now, it's not that simple. There's complex harmonics involved when you use magnets to spin magnets. So there's a certain frequency you've got to find. You've got to balance it all. There's details to it. It's not that easy. But people are working on it. And I think we're getting, there are people inventing this. So this will be a magnetic dynamo. The dynamo is spinning by magnets themselves or by itself. But remember, we still created it. The magnets themselves are technology that we had to create. They're not natural magnets. So this, like I said, this is already the first free energy machine. We've already done it. We've done it already. This is it. Now we've got to work out how to create stronger ones. How to connect this to crystalline. Crystals who've got piezoelectricity. See, again, if I take a crystal like this, quartz, I squeeze it, an electrical current will come out. Now I have to squeeze it very, very hard, of course, but that is a mechanical energy, a kinetic system applied to a crystalline system. They're two separate systems. I'm not transforming the energy. I'm using one energy to change the situation of the other one, thereby creating energy in it. If I squeeze this crystal hard enough, I will create electricity. It will come out. See, the energy that is created, there's only one energy created, it's electricity. There is only one energy. There is only one field, that is ether, and there's only one energy that emerges from that field, that is electricity. But immediately as the electricity is created, there is a force of that electricity because it wants to disappear again. When you go away from inertia, the function of energy is to return back. The function of energy is entropy. So the moment electricity is created, there is a force to pull it down. Magnetism is created, and gravity is magnetism. I've got to explain it. I do. If you look through I've got talks on unifying gravity and magnetism. But that is the same force. Electricity is created, and immediately magnetism is the force or the field that is created by that electricity. Electricity is a divergence, magnetism is the convergence. There is only one energy that is created, that is electricity. And all other energies are extensions or derived from electricity, but they're also derived through material substance, which I talk about in the previous lecture. Have a look at this, Aether Physics. What is ether? So material substance is, you can think of this as quite literally crystallized ether. So it's still the same thing. It's still the same thing. It's just a different effect. In its crystallized material form, there are different effects it has. We have kinetics here. Kinetics are still an extension of electrics. It's a long discussion to have that, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Anyway, the point being is free energy in a machine, that's how it would work. Free energy in the body. You see, again, I have to discuss what is energy. I said just now, energy is electricity. But where does it come from? Energy comes from the ether. How is it created from the ether? The ether creates energy through desire. Remember, the ether is consciousness. It is living. It is feelings. There is a desire. The desire is a focus of that consciousness, and that focus makes me do something. You see, I, the living being, create energy in the shell, as we had just discussed. But why? Why have I even bothered to do this? I have a desire to lift the shell up. The desire created the energy for the shell. So energy is created by desire. And I also defined it in the other lecture as the division of inertia, or the divergence of inertia. I'm dividing inertia, taking it away from inertia. So desire creates energy. That's what we got in our body. We can see this. Listen, look at little children. Christmas is coming. They stay awake all night. Christmas is coming tomorrow. They haven't slept all night. They wake up. There's still energy jumping. They're so excited. Their single-minded purpose is on the excitement and the desire of Christmas morning. Now, the adults, you lost all that. You see, the children are creating energy. Where does that energy of a child come from? They're only a little body. They're smaller than us. Why have they got so much energy? They're creating it. The desire, the excitement. They're creating electricity in the body. We get adults, Christmas. Oh, Christmas, I wake up. Oh dear, so much work today. I've got to do the dinner. I've got to wrap the presents. I wonder if everyone's going to be happy. There's no desire, no excitement. It's hard work. It's the opposite. You're now destroying energy. You're tired, exhausted. Oh. And then we get older and older, less and less energy is being created. It's like giving up now. Oh, I can't be bothered. I just want to go to sleep. Oh, just let me go. So you're not creating it. But a child is creating it. You've got to observe this. It's created through desire. So how do we build that back? It's the magic of a child. We need to feel magic in our life. That magic is the excitement. When you feel the magic, there's an excitement in the world. Now you have a desire. See, these crystals, I love them scientifically, but I love the excitement of it, the childish magic. It's magic. I mean, come on. That's why I like the Jedi. I really believe it. It's the Force. I am creating the Force myself. This is technology, but the Force is the same Force. Here I'm creating technology. I'm transferring energy through the crystal, like a Jedi, It's the magic feeling that gives you the desire to use the Force and do something. And that's what creates energy. So I'm creating energy. I, the cis spirit, soul spirit, through desire, create energy in this body. And you will have all had this. Imagine this. You're going on holiday. You're so excited to go somewhere. I don't know, you've gone to the tropics, Maldives. That was one of our best holidays in Maldives. Oh, long time ago. Anyway, it's such a long journey. You may have 2 days traveling. You're exhausted. You hardly slept. And then you get there. But you're so excited to get there. All your exhaustion is forgotten. As you're going around, wow, you've got full of energy. And you haven't slept for 2 days. Are you tired? No. Oh, this is incredible. So why? Literally the desire is so powerful. The soul spirit is enjoying that moment so much. Enough energy has been created in your body to override the tiredness in your body. You're creating so much energy. And then when you go to the room, you sort of calm down a bit. You go to the room, you collapse on the bed. Oh, I'm exhausted. Because the excitement is gone. You're here now. Oh, I made it. And you've gone around, you saw it all. Oh, yeah, all right. Now the desire, no more desire. Well, I'm here now. It's all right now. The excitement is gone, and now you feel exhaustion. And then you fall asleep the whole first day. You go, I missed breakfast. Oh, I missed breakfast. What happened? Oh, I was so tired. You see, so the energy now has been destroyed. So this is how it works in the body. This is metaphysics. This is how the soul spirit create energy. And we can do that through self-motivation, going to the gym, trying to create energy. And in life you have hardships, you're trying to, motivate yourself. Come on, you can do it. In like Christmas, the same thing. Oh, I don't know, Christmas, it's hard work, cook the dinner, blah, blah, blah. But it's going to be nice. It's going to be beautiful. So you can motivate yourself like that. That's good. That's a good way. But the easiest way is to try and find the excitement, the magic, like a child. The child is not trying to do it, you see. That's the key. You can't be trying. Oh, I wish I could have the energy to lift up the shell. I'll try. Remember Yoda? What did he say? Luke Skywalker says, I will try. He says, do or do not do. There is no try. Something like that. But he's correct, you see. You can't try. Oh, well, you can. And that's what I'm saying. At least trying is better than nothing. I'm trying. But when you really do it, it's like a child. Oh, I lift it up. There is no try because you're not thinking about trying. That's the secret. That's why you can't get your head around it. When he says there is no try, yeah, but I have to try. No, you don't have to try. A child is not trying. A child will just go to the thing going, oh. So that's magic. That's magic. And again, that's why I like energy healing. It does feel like magic. But you're doing good magic. Of course, it's good magic. The magic can do anything. You've got the Jedi and you've got the Sith. You can still use this energy for evil. Of course you can. It's the motivation behind the energy. You can have a free energy machine. It's brilliant. But you can use it to create a weapon. Of course you can. So you need both. You need to have a good soul spirit, as well as the technology, powerful technology. Two got to come together. But with Aether Physics, this metaphysical science, the two do come together. My soul spirit come together. The irony is, when that happens, I create more energy in my body. That will create more energy in my brain. My brain will be able to receive more wisdom from the cosmos, from the ether. The more wisdom from the ether comes to my brain, comes to my body, I will have more ideas to create more technology. And I'll be able to build a free energy machine. See, scientists don't realize that. You're trying to get more clever in your equations, but you don't realize there is a method of becoming more clever. So you've got to do the internal training as well. If you do the internal meditation, chi training, you will gain more wisdom even in your science. But you see, I could do that if I wanted to. I did have that, but I've forgotten it all now. I remember when I studied physics, I had pages of just mathematical equations. And I looked at it years later and I thought, how did I even understand this? I don't understand it. So now I've forgotten all that, but I understand the principles of it, and my brain has been there. My brain has spent a good few years in the world of pure mathematics. So I remember what it's like. I know what it looks like when I see mathematics. And if I really wanted to, I could relearn it very fast. But I can't be bothered to learn it. The details of that don't matter to me. I'm trying to work on a unified training. It's my soul spirit. There's a lot of stuff I've got to do. I've got to train my body as well as my brain. And I've got to live in this life. Again, I've got to find the way I've got to live. And try and share the information, my ideas about this. That's what I think is more important for me to do. Anyway, so I hope this little talk made sense again. I'm saying that yes, free energy is possible because the universe works in a different way to what they think. And again, I'm not denying the first law of thermodynamics, and I'm not denying the results of your experiment. I am saying there's a different way of explaining the results of your experiment, and it is this. There are different systems of energy, a kinetic system of energy and an electrical system of energy. The two don't actually transfer. You're just using one to change the situation of another, and in that you are creating energy. You are creating energy in the other system. That's what you're doing. It's a subtle difference. Subtle difference. You might think it's pointless, but it's not, because then you start looking at how to minimize the input from one to create the same in another. And once you get to the level of a magnet, there's no input required anymore. You do all the input to create it, and then you've done it, leave it, and energy just comes out. See, this is a magnetic field, but imagine you could have one of these when electric current comes out. Electric current comes out, so it's a different setup. So it might have to be crystalline and magnetic, held in the structure. So you'll have piezoelectricity of a crystal combined with magnetism, somehow in a substance, such that electricity, an actual current, comes directly out of it. You just plug into the box, electricity comes out. Who knows? But I'm saying such a thing is possible when you understand all you have to do is set up a system. You set it up. You set up a geometry, a temporal geometry with a particular set of substances that will allow energy to be created continuously. Then you don't need a kinetic system with a continuous input. But when you think energy is transformed, you can't separate the systems and realize this. That's what I'm trying to say. And it's the same in your body. When you're getting tired and exhausted, realize it's your mental state. If you can change the mental state to a child, find the magic, the excitement, then you create energy again. But the way I do it, I do it quite philosophically. If I'm getting tired, I go into the tiredness. All right, I'm tired. I try to remember to go into a bigger, better structure and then be more relaxed. And I sort of go around in a half sleep state. And then if I get a moment, I drop off and I wake up. And I build up some energy as well. I allow myself to have a rest. But you see, resting and waking, I'm trying to find a balance. So the ultimate balance is the excitement of a child combined with the wisdom of an adult. You need to be able to master this. You see, a child is also foolish. You don't want to be foolish and naive, because you've got to be careful. You also need wisdom. Of course you do. But wisdom, again, is the balance. It's the balance of the spirit, the wisdom, and the body, the material substance, is the energy, the child, the electricity. The electricity is like the child, the energy, but the wisdom is like the chi, the ether. The ether creates the electricity. Look at it that way. Look at it that way. The heavens create the earth. The electricity, I mean the physical energy, the earth. The chi, the ether, is non-physical, metaphysical. Consciousness, that's not physical. Consciousness creates electricity. So I'm moving my body now. I'm creating electrical currents that are passing through the muscles. But I'm creating them. I'm actually creating them. It's a different idea. It's a different idea. So I hope this little talk made sense. Thank you so much again for listening. Please do check out my other lecture, What is Ether? I'll leave the links below. And check through my channel, because I talk about this stuff in all different ways. I've tried to organise playlists so you can look through all the subjects and just see what interests you, and check it out. So thank you so much again, and I look forward to seeing you in any of these other videos here.